We're just going to jump into this and see kind of what it's about. So basically, yeah. Okay, Tyler won.
This clip of Tyler 1 ranting.
I agree. Just if it makes you feel any better, I just spent, I don't know how long playing a game that I sucked at, and also feel like I should fix the game.
Went viral all over the internet and is probably one of his most popular moments in his streaming career. Not just because of how funny and crazy it is, but because of how relatable it
I thought it was going to be because of the fact that he's wearing a Goku tank top, and we all know that anime is mainstream now.
was to the audience he was speaking to. Some people saw this clip, myself included, and thought that this was truly the most accurate representation of what it's like playing these sorts of games, showcasing just how brutal and unforgiving the nature of the game he's currently playing. And that type of game is, of course, a MOBA game. Playing a
So for those of you who don't know, I used to have a massive, well, still kind of do now and then, have a massive Dota 2 addiction. And I've been playing that for the better part of, I don't know how many years, and I've well over, I don't know, how many hours do I have in this thing? Out of curiosity. So on not my main profile, I have 2,000, or on my main profile, and I've also had alts, I have 2,578 hours. So I feel like I know vastly about what the fuck he's talking about.
A MOBA is kind of like jerking off multiple times. You know it's a bad idea, you can't stop yourself from doing it, and after you're done, you just feel like complete shit afterwards. The only
I feel like that is one of the best analogies I've ever heard for why we fucking play MOBA games. Basically, you just hate yourself. And then, of course, there's chat. That is just amazing. And just always says the right thing to make you feel so good about yourself.
The difference is you're not being slowly degraded to feel like a subhuman piece of trash whilst honking your horn. Well, I mean, I guess you could be, depending on what you're into. Regardless,
I mean, fair enough. Some people are into that shit. Good for them.
MOBAs have a very long and
Why does this have such shit in it? No, it's an HD, okay.
complicated history. Starting off as a small fry was Aeon
Yeah, but I was going to say it's Warcraft, and I just stopped it. Now it's not Warcraft.
of Strife, a custom mod made in StarCraft, later on blooming into the legendary game everybody knows.
I look at that and I'm like, how the fuck did that become any semblance of Dota? There's so many
as
units.
Dota All-Stars. This is also the sole reason why I don't trust people anymore. Hey, come on, help me kill this guy. Kill this guy. Come on, what are you doing? Dude, what are you doing? Okay, get back. It's too late now. Get back. What are you? Humanity was
I mean, I feel like that's the summary of every game of Dota still.
a fucking mistake. And after multiple years of Dota All-Stars taking its toll on the player base's mental health, the two big titans we all know and hate eventually came out. League of Legends and
I have so many questions about how it goes League of Legends. I don't even know what the fuck that was. And that's some Lord of the Rings
two
game.
of the biggest names in regards to popularity.
Also, I mean, I would play the shit out of... I know there was a Lord of the Rings Dota game, and I'll play the shit out of that if it still existed. I mean, who doesn't want to be Gandalf?
And reliving past trauma. Both games each have their similarities
Past trauma. I think he still means current trauma.
and their differences. Dota 2 being more suited to those who relish in the complexity and macro-heavy style gameplay from its predecessor, and League more suited for, well, horny people.
I don't even know what to say that. Also, okay, let's not have that on screen. But when he says horny people, as League of Legends players, I mean, I just have, like, a few things to bring up about that. First of all, okay, we're not searching Rule 34 because that's just stupid. Why the fuck would it autocorrect to Spain? Just for case in point, for 2 seconds. Queen of Pain Arcana. Let's just have a look quickly. Not at all for horny people. Not at all when you have a fucking succubus wearing leather, half naked, with a whip. Not at all. But I guess that's not the point we're trying to make. We will accept that and move on. Anyway.
knew that there
Yes,
was
right.
audience out there interested in joining the Mobas sphere, but didn't feel like going to college for 5 years just to get a degree in creep blocking. So they went ahead and created
Can you not creep block in League? Like, I get that it's a very stupid fucking mechanic, but I would just assume that that's in everything. Also, why is it so difficult to creep block?
their own version of the game and kept a lot of the core mechanics and features that still keep it a MOBA game, but remove some of the things they thought were unnecessary. Things like creep denying and...
Okay, denying is fun though. Nothing feels better than denying a creep and just like, it is literally like just slapping your dick on someone's forehead. It is such a good feeling of superiority. You deny the creeps, you outlevel them in lane, and then you're just like, fuck you.
Couriers and angry Russians, both League and Dota
And Russians.
thrived throughout the following years, each becoming not only some of the most popular games around the world, but also in the
Weren't they like the
elite
most played games?
scene as well, gathering millions of viewers to watch their favorite teams duke it
Like, wasn't
out
League
all around
literally
the globe.
fucking
But
World, whatever it's called,
statistics
the
of
biggest
spectator
thing? I mean, okay, whatever the fuck. All-time peak viewers, 6.5 million. Like, you can't argue with that being massive. Even 2.8 million. Like, how many people watch? I feel like that must be massive. Like, in the real world, like, that must be so big. Like, if you look at, like, what the fuck is Super Bowl? Like, Super Bowl is 123 million. Like, in fairness, that is massive. I get it's not the same amount, but still, like, that is a massive amount.
numbers to the current player bases of their games, there's a pretty drastic difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, both of these games are still very much considered popular to this very day, but I can't help but wonder why exactly they're both still not as popular as they once used to be. It's become pretty
Well, fucking people hate themselves less. We found therapy. And I wouldn't play Dota and League anymore.
obvious that MOBA games are a lot more enjoyed from a viewer's perspective than to actually play the game yourself. But I want to know exactly why that seems to be the case. Like, what's stopping new players from wanting to try out these games? And more importantly, what's causing some...
Like you said, you needed a fucking 5-year degree to lane block a creep. I feel like you need a fucking 35-year degree plus honors and masters and 4 different other degrees just to fucking understand the basic mechanics of how either game works.
players to ultimately
Never mind the fucking heroes and items and how they all correspond together.
quit these games entirely. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind, as I'm sure a lot of you guys were thinking of as well, is, of course, difficulty. Now, overall, I actually don't think...
I don't know if difficulty is the issue. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of heroes that are just so skill-based, and the game as a whole is so skill-based, but just the fucking wealth of knowledge and understanding needed to play the games, never mind anything else.
that MOBAs are all too difficult. I mean, just pick a hero like Ogre Magi and... But when I say difficulty, I mean, coming from a newcomer standpoint, you have to admit, it's extremely difficult for them to even just try to dip their feet in the water. Only this time, instead of it being like a kiddie-sized pool, it's a shark-infested ocean. 99% of your skill in a MOBA game
Things are
is
fucking bigger than an
determined by one
ocean.
thing. Knowledge. Knowing what your abilities
That-
do, knowing what the enemy's
Almost like I
abilities
know
do,
what I'm
where to
speaking
go, what
about.
to build, how to feed, and this is what causes a lot of new
How to feed. I love how to feed is something you need to know how to do.
players to quit just a couple of hours into the game. Speak to anybody who's still currently playing these games, and they'll tell you they've been playing for the past 5 to 10 years because
I feel like that is very accurate. I think anyone I know that plays either MOBA has been playing forever. No one is like, I'm a new player. I picked it up last year.
that's just how long it usually takes to finally get settled in. There's just way too much dog information you need to know to be able to enjoy your very first game. Think to back when you first started playing your very first MOBA game. Perhaps you had a friend who was willing to teach you everything, or you just watched so many videos and guides, or maybe you were just there playing the game ever since it first came out.
I mean, Fantasy's not wrong. The only reason we even got into Dota 2 was because we played Dota 1. We didn't understand Dota 1. All we saw was this map is massively popular and one of the most recommended maps when you try to look for Warcraft 3 maps, because we're the sad people that played Warcraft 3 mod maps as our main like form of enjoyment, but we didn't really play online. We played locally with friends. So everyone was dog shit and no one knew what the fuck they were doing. So it made you feel better about yourself. You didn't have to worry about the fact you didn't know what the fuck you were doing because no one knew what they were doing. And then Dota All-Stars got AI. And then you could play against AI. And then you never had to actually play against real people. So the learning curve wasn't forced because there wasn't people you had to play against that knew everything and you knew fuck all. So I feel like that's the only reason we were even able to get to it. And even then, when you actually moved into Dota 2, when it first came out, which you played at launch, still in the original beta, where you had to fucking get keys, there was so much knowledge that you needed to learn so quickly, and none of the heroes worked like you thought they did. The game didn't play how you thought it did because the items and maneuvering and everything was just so different. But you started with some level of base knowledge.
Regardless,
or at least we did.
Just imagine being a brand new player who wants to learn a
So why the fuck is there a tiger?
MOBA game for the first time ever nowadays. To put things into perspective, in League of Legends, there are over 168 different champions.
Okay, maybe League is the hornier game. Looking at this, I think maybe I should have played with that.
With around 4 abilities each, including a passive ability that makes it 5, resulting in around 840 different abilities you need to know about, just so you can avoid feeding your ass off. And by the time you finally think you have what it takes, they've updated the game, nerfed your favorite champion to the ground, and released a brand new champion who can run through walls. What the fuck? That leads me to my next point as to why I think MOBAs are on the decline.
I have no comments on that because I do not understand.
Into the MOBA scene, but the current player base also doesn't plan on sticking around forever either. Now let's cut out all the bullshit, okay? I'm just gonna say what everyone else is thinking. Yes, MOBAs have the worst game balance in video game history. There, you happy now? League.
I also don't think that's their fault. In fairness, you have so much to balance. Because you have all the items, all the abilities, all the heroes, all the ways the heroes interact. Like, I feel like it is just fucking almost impossible to balance. It's not like you're playing like some kind of FPS where you just have to make sure the guns are balanced. Where you have a finite amount of guns to balance. And like maybe 1 or 2 hero abilities of something like Apex, or like 1 or 2 gadgets in fucking like Siege or something. It's just such a smaller pool of interactions and such a smaller pool of like heroes or characters to actually balance.
Does a terrible job at buffing and nerfing their champions. Every single 2 weeks just seems like a competition of who can pick that said broken champion the fastest. On the other side, Dota gets updated less frequently than my own upload schedule. And that's really saying something. And when that update finally comes, it's the exact same thing. People just wait to see what heroes are being spammed by the top players in the next tournament, and oh, would you look at that, there's a sudden spike in Sand King mid lately. I wonder why. Surely because it's a fun mid hero, right? No, f you. People nowadays are so fixated on picking the
because it's broken. Well, you want to win.
Builds and following the meta strategies, but you can't blame them because at the end of the day, winning in a MOBA feels really, really good, whereas losing feels absolutely terrible.
I feel like it's also... It's not a quick... It's not a quick 20-minute thing. It takes you fucking so... Like, even playing a Dota 2 turbo match. Okay, League, I have no reference point for how long a game of League lasts. It could last 5 minutes for all I fucking know. But, like, even playing a Dota turbo match, it's at least minimum 20 to 30 minutes. You even get some that go like 40 to 50 minutes. It's such a long time investment. It's also so many people. Like, people take it seriously. It's a slow build-up. It's not like you can just jump in, fucking fuck around for 20 minutes and leave. Like, it's a slow build-up. It's a build-up, build-up, build-up. Like, it's so long. So many people are involved. Like, it's... You want to win, so you're going to do that. Very rarely I even find myself playing heroes that I know are just trash. Even some of my favorite heroes stop playing because they're just shit. Or the weak.
Oh, yeah, no shit. And I know this might sound so incredibly obvious and needless to say, but I need to emphasize this point just to be clear. Winning feels good. You're having fun. Everybody in your team is having fun, and everything just feels overall fantastic. But on the other hand, losing feels just so fucking shitty. It makes you...
Also, why is there like 4 pixels on this map? Does he have everything turned down? I feel like that's not the standard map. I feel like this must be like with fucking 3 pixels activated. I know Dota can basically run on a fucking potato at this point, but still.
You want to keep playing the game. You're dead half of the time just waiting to respawn. Your teammates are arguing with each other non-stop, and you spend the remaining amount of time feeling trapped in your own base like it's a torture device just waiting for it all to end.
And then the biggest thing is you want to do it to other people, so that's how you relive your life, and that's what makes yourself feel better about yourself.
other games are not like this. Battle royales, if you die or your team sucks, just leave the game and queue up for another one. Fighting games at tops is like 3 to 4 minutes each fight. You can either rematch the person or find someone else to fight. And most team-based FPS games at least have a surrender function to speeding up the self-deprecation process.
Doesn't League have surrender though? I feel like I've heard that. I could also just be completely wrong.
And that's where most of the main problems stem from. It's the volatility of accepting that queue pop in a MOBA game. Sure, yeah, they could be extremely fun at times, but they also have a chance to be overwhelmingly miserable. Like, I'm talking some of the worst experiences a single gamer.
Riot banned Korean League of Legends streamer held hostage for 3 hours by stream snipers. So why did she get banned?
Could even imagine. Something you could only experience in a MOBA game. All it takes is one bad game, one toxic message.
Spawning ultimate, so hope you all die, bitches. Don't talk. Yeah, stop talking. Get cancelled, coronavirus. Oh, sorry, I'll do what I want, you freak. I5. Signals to be careful. I mean, sounds like a standard.
One angry Ursa
Dota
likes his items because his support didn't pull the lane, or one Yumi picker on, to be honest, either team. And that
The fuck is Yumi? What a hero in Dota.
ruin your entire day, leading to yet another fallen soldier who we probably
What shows how
won't
out of
see
touch
again
I
for
am.
a few weeks or months or maybe even
It better say I haven't played in
ever
months.
again. And it also doesn't help that because losing in a MOBA feels so mentally draining, most of the community has just degraded into these radioactive zombies whose passion and love for the game is
I don't think zombies even counts.
deteriorated, and mental fortitude has been abused and beaten down so hard it shares the same consistency as guacamole. Watching Grubby's video where he talks about why he's done with Dota for now and why it doesn't feel fun for him anymore really did speak to me on so many different levels, because it's the exact same thing I've been saying for years. The community is toxic and people don't even know how to have fun anymore. People always talk about how much better both League and Dota used to be back in the day and blame it on the development
I feel like there was more people.
updates, which I just find complete and utter
People got
nonsense.
tired
You're
of
telling
them.
me that you miss having one single courier to share between all your teammates trying to hog it. You miss having to buy runes and rune pages.
I don't know what that is.
In-game currency. You love the fact that when you queued up for a ranked game, you had absolutely no guarantee of playing the role you actually wanted to play. I mean, come on, guys, stop with the bullshit. All of these updates were actually good for the game. Talent trees, neutral items, elemental dragons, mythic items.
I kind of feel like
maybe not that one actually. Regardless,
I don't know what those are. I feel like the game as a whole is kind of better.
I actually think that these games were better back then. In my opinion, both of these games have evolved to become a much better version of what they used to be. But what has gotten worse is in fact actually just the community. Back in the day, we
That
didn't
is
have
fair.
third-party websites
I
that
think
gave
I
us all-
completely agree with that. The community as a whole has just gotten so much shit. But I think it's all because there's no longer novelty. There's no longer, like, the game no longer feels new. There's not like this unique experience anymore. It's now the fact you've been playing it, like you said, for fucking 5-6 years. When did I first launch Dota 2? Was it I have first played? Does it say? Oh, well, I was played in December, that I can tell you. Yeah, but anyway, the point is you played it for so long that it loses the novelty, loses the fun, loses the new effect. You just want to win. You're just so annoyed. You're so on edge. You're just like, fuck this game. I hate it so much, but I have to play it. I just want to win. And you lose like all empathy and human feeling. And you're like, fuck, I just want to win.
Information about all the statistics of what's good and what's bad. Everybody was still trying to learn what the f was even going on, and most people just picked what they wanted to play because the character looked cool. But as time went on, MOBA
That's
games
fair.
have become a lot more fixed and competitive. People started to adapt and create a meta that now everybody is forced to follow.
Also,
If you
think
didn't play a specific
as well, you're forced into it because the player base is the people that are so competitive, that have stuck around for so long. They want to win. They become more and more competitive. You have to be more competitive in turn to still try to win.
hero or champion exactly the same way as everybody else did, you were deemed to be a troll or a noob. One of the most popular quotes in Dota 2's history is No Tail saying anything can work. But in reality, what he actually meant to say was anything can work as long as a pro player does it first. Nowadays, the
Or you're good enough to make it work, which unfortunately just a lot of us aren't.
The community has become so obsessed to grinding ranks and min-maxing the ever-living shit out of every single strategy they learn about, causing fatigue and tilt, and overall just doesn't make the game as fun anymore. And that's not really even anybody's fault per se, this is just what happens when things get overly competitive. Just take a look at every other game that slowly met the exact same fate. Fortnite was fun until people started professionally speedrunning their building, Overwatch was fun until people found unstoppable team compositions, and a day before was, yeah, it was actually never fun at all to begin with. I think something
I don't even know what a day before is.
This. We missed what it was like playing a MOBA game for the first time ever. We missed back when we had a full party of friends to actually play with. We missed not knowing exactly how we ended up dying or how to play our own heroes, but we were slowly learning the game together. And no matter what happens next for MOBAs, I will always cherish these memories I had along the way, as they were
that's very apt way.
best moments of my life. And if you watching this video have not played a MOBA in a really long time or have not played a MOBA ever in your life, then I truly do advise that you stay as far away as possible. This sucks!
I feel like I solidly agree with that. I feel like he's right. We missed that novelty, that new expectation, and there's just never been a new MOBA. And the thing is, are you really going to play a new MOBA? Because there's just so much time, so much learning, so much investment into just even just knowing how the game fucking works that you're never going to do it really. But yeah, I think it was actually a really cool video. I'll put the link down in the description below. Videos by Blitzbanks. I don't know if he actually pops it up here at the end. Primarily a Dota content creator. But fucking crazy, but really cool video. Yeah, that was, I think, quite an apt way to put it. And to see what the fuck is wrong, but also good with MOBAs at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I think he made some really good points, must be honest. Yeah, I think that's what that is.